Hi, everyone. First Alert Meteorologist Scott Gagliardi here with your First Alert Weather Extra on this Thursday morning. It's a very nice start to the day. Temperatures will top out in the mid and upper 80s later on this afternoon. It's the warmest day of the week, and throughout the next several days, we'll see our shower chances increase slightly and our temperatures cool somewhat. But either way, the trend has been our friend, if you like drier weather, which I'm sure you do, for the upcoming Father's Day weekend. But let's check in and see where things are in terms of the weather outside. Let's look at this. We're checking out Hartford. It looks good out there right now. You have the Yard Goats game tonight at 7:10. Temperatures right now in the 70s, but even by this evening, they will be perfect baseball weather for tonight. As far as what it looks like in New Haven, notice a lot of haze out there, but visibility is okay because you can see Sleeping Giant. So we know that that haze is not at the ground level. Air quality, not perfect, but not looking at anything too terrible. Just moderate levels. But temperature also in New Haven, 73 degrees. Looking up at Rocky Hill towards the Hartford skyline, it's very hazy. The sky should be blue, but we're seeing that gray haze out there once again. New London looks really pretty out there as well. A couple high thin clouds, but that haze there being seen up along the skyline. Temperatures to the south and east, 71. The wind there out of the west at 11. Checking in on our temperatures, or last Thursday, the warmest day of the week. This Thursday, the warmest day of the week, and some indications are even next Wednesday, or I should say next Thursday, possibly one of the warmer days. We're looking at a big warm-up on the way by next week, and finally long-lasting, at least more than just a couple days is what it's looking like at this point. As far as rainfall, we've had a pretty wet start to June. Not so much wetter than average, but close by about a half of an inch. We've seen 1.14 inches of rain. Typically, we see about 1 6/10, so a little bit more than what we've seen. But either way, certainly has been a wet start. You saw the past about 5 out of the last 8 days have featured some sort of measurable rainfall. Today, not one of those days, so good news there. Temperatures climbing very quickly. You see the Connecticut Valley locations already looking at those low to even middle 70s. Along the shoreline, lower 70s at this hour, but everybody climbs today. Very nice and very warm with that wind out of the west. Generally, for most of Connecticut, areas, say, west of New Haven, easily reaching those mid and upper 80s today. So a great beach day if you plan on heading out. Looking at 62, the cool spot in Willimantic, but even there, temperatures climb today into those 80s. Here's a look at those wind speeds. Notice how they are out of the west and even the west-southwest along parts of the shoreline. 5 to about 15 miles per hour. They'll be picking up later on today as a cold front passes through. Notice how the wind gust trend throughout the rest of the day today climbs into that 20 to 25 mile per hour range. But notice how the winds also shift from the west and southwest to the north and northwest. That's a cooler and somewhat drier weather direction. Notice our dew points. They're in the 50s to near 60. So this measures the moisture out there. There's certainly some, but we wouldn't call it quite humid by any means. A touch of mugginess, but it's a very nice late spring start to spring. A nice start to our late spring day. There we go. 8 days until the first day of summer. Not tomorrow, but the following Friday. Here's a look at that beach forecast. Notice how the temperatures west of New Haven, Milford 88, Fairfield same, 88 degrees, Norwalk 88, but even to the east, out towards Mystic and Niantic, you're still climbing into the 80s today. So a beautiful beach day. High tide comes in later in this morning in New London, and then New Haven around 1 o'clock. UV index 0 and 8. Even though there's that haze out there, you can still and will still get burned if you don't apply that sunscreen. Satellite and radar across the northeast shows a few clouds and showers to the north and northwest. But here locally, we're doing just fine. There's a cold front. You wouldn't really know. It's not much moisture associated with it. But notice what happens later on today. So a few showers and maybe even a thunderstorm pops up due to that cold front through parts of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. The Storm Prediction Center has areas as close as New York City with the threat for maybe a isolated severe storm. We're not looking at anything like that here locally in Connecticut, but if your plans take you west today, something to be mindful of. Once that cold front continues to pass through, here's what we're waking up to on your Friday morning. More clouds than we're seeing today. It'll be cooler as well because of that cold front, but it doesn't completely dry us out. Notice how this one computer model depicts the isolated chance, very isolated, of a spot shower to start the day on your Friday, keeping a lot of clouds around and the chance for a shower or two as well. Best chance of any rain, though, comes in late tomorrow night and through the first part of our Saturday. That cold front actually heads back to the north as more of a stationary boundary, and an area of low pressure rides along that. So all of that combined, you even see that high pressure pulls away, puts us in a spot for the highest probability through the weekend to see rain comes in, once again, late Friday into the first part of our Saturday. But beyond, say, midday on Saturday, we're seeing a lot of trends among the computer models that conditions look pretty good and much better than they did just yesterday. So great news there for Dad on Father's Day. Here's throughout the day on your Saturday. Notice not much in the way of any rain. And then Sunday morning, there's a couple showers off to the north and the west. But overall, throughout the day, yeah, it'll be cloudy and cooler, but it looks to remain dry. Any yard work plans tomorrow look good. It'll be cloudy, but notice, or cloudier, I should say. Still seeing a good deal of sunshine on your Friday. But the big thing to note is not as warm. Today we're looking at mid and upper 80s. Tomorrow, those mid and upper 70s. Your dew point trend, enjoy the somewhat lack of humidity today, even through most of the weekend and to start next week, because beyond that, we're talking late Tuesday and then through the rest of the week. Downright humid, as well as combine the humidity with some good signals of some very warm temperatures. Our average high temperature climbs to about 80 by next week, so anything above that would be considered obviously above average, but in some cases we're looking at mid and upper 80s, maybe even low to mid 90s, not out of the question. Plenty to fine tune until then, about a week out, but just know that the summer looks like it'll finally hang out for a little while, put it that way. The chance exists for some wetter weather, wetter than average, day 6 through 10, but it seems like the variety of those pop-up afternoon and evening thunderstorm variety, not looking at all-day washouts. So it'll be warm, humid, and then you get those storms to kind of cool things off later on in the evening hours. Once again, that's day 6 through 10, so we're talking the end of next weekend into the following weekend. Forecast highs today, it's good, it's warm. It's the warmest day of the week, for sure. It's very bright, besides that hazy, milky look to the sky. It's breezy as well, as that cold front passes through. 87 in the Hartford area. Tonight, it's mostly clear, maybe a couple clouds. It's slightly cooler than last night, but once again, the isolated chance of a spot shower when you wake up on your Friday. Not everybody will see it, and most of us remain dry. Your first alert 7-day forecast, 87 today, 82 tomorrow, so still above average, just not as warm as today. This weekend, we are certainly below average, well below average in some cases. The best chance of those showers, once again, we've been fine-tuning the forecast all week, but at this point it's looking like Saturday morning, and then can't rule out a sprinkle or a light shower on Father's Day. Otherwise, looking dry. Monday, 73 degrees. Tuesday, 78. That's when our warming trend begins. By Wednesday, muggy and 83. Maybe even a little bit warmer than that. And then beyond that, yeah, the heat is on. It's going to be quite a warm end of the week. Just in time for the TPC tournament in Cromwell. Remember last year it was very hot, 95 to 100. That might be out of the question, or hopefully it is, out of the realm of possibility this year. But either way, it's looking warm just in time for that tournament once again. All right, guys, other than that, have a great day. Have a great beach day if you plan on going. If you're almost done with school, it's either today or tomorrow in a few towns. Enjoy the warmth that's on the way, at least for today and for tomorrow. Cooler weekend, and then get ready for the big warmth by the end of next week. All right, have a great day.